God damn, son. We have some major issues to overcome here. I think this shit might be bent. Like, we can't even stay in tune for 24 hours. And we haven't even gotten to the big boy yet. Do. That is a C sharp or a D flat, depending on how you. I'm a little bit out of practice, but yeah, I taught for several years. If I knew so many people were watching, I would have fucking played some shit. I think Tulu is the one that didn't like the bad language. So hopefully I don't offend you. But yeah, we weren't like playing music. I'm trying to set up the action on these guitars and like set up my pedal board so that I can actually play on stream or do shorts. But we've been having some issues with like moisture and humidity and temperature. And that bends and distorts the neck of the guitar, so it's like it can't maintain tune, so I have to retune the thing every day. We're just trying to work on the guitar setup. You're probably glad you didn't show up last night and see me wearing a dress, because I fucking did it. I put my big ass in an extra large these Santa Claus dress, and I had fewer views than I have right now, just like sitting in the dark. And I'm not even joking. Look at my most recent community post. I put a picture up, but that's probably the last time I'm gonna be doing that in a while. My grandpa came back to the house yesterday with like an extra large like holiday dress for my, and she weighs like 130 pounds. And like I put this thing on and it was like maybe 5 inches off the ground. So this thing was made for a big woman. But I thought I might be able to get like a hot live stream, like a lot of people come through. But I ended up just being very uncomfortable. And I had to take that bitch off after like 15 minutes. You saw the dress? To the ring, to the pen, to the king, that's my crown. Yeah, no, I tried to give like a fucking... I tried to give off like a zesty vibe, but somebody told me I should have tagged like done hashtags, like some gay shit, and I was just like, I think that's a little bit too much. I mean, I don't really care who shows up, but I'm not trying to be known as the dude who wears a fucking Mrs. Claus dress and appeals to dudes who want to see other dudes. I think that's what Tulu was thinking when I was on stream earlier. But no, it was me being funny. Scooby-Doo is back in the house. Are you the one that said I look like a homeless hobo? Right before I made a bank account deposit of $340. While also you said I was a homeless hobo who lived in my car. Which is kind of contradictory, because the whole concept of a hobo is that they use trains to go around. So, you know, if a hobo had a car, he wouldn't be a hobo. I'm not sure if you fully grasp that concept. But I can be a hobo if you want to linger around chat. But I also own like 13 cars, so we gotta find the middle ground there. And how many hobos own 305 acres of land? Yeah, I mean, it happened like we said it would. I wasn't really surprised. It was a money grab for both of them. You know, one gets 20 million, one gets 40. You agree on the terms before it happens. I don't have a Lamborghini, but I show my cars pretty often here. I'm sure some of the people in the chat have seen all of them. If you insist, I can walk around and show them to you, but I think Hank and Mr. Fishing have probably seen most of my vehicles. But while you're in here, I can take a minute to just tell you a bitch. And if you actually want to shit, you can join stream with me. We can StreamYard. This isn't even my house. This is just my little shed. I've got this shed, another shed. I've got 7 corn bins. Got another house, and then we got the main house that I'm staying in right now. But you're welcome to show up. I'll talk to you on stream. We can embarrass your ass. No, this is just YouTube right now. But I can make a StreamYard. But most people turn down the StreamYard thing. Especially trolls, once they realize that I have like a background in education. And once I bring up epistemology, syllogistic logic, analytic logic, biblical theology, you're like, oh, this dude actually knows what he's talking about. So I expect that the dude's gonna get pretty quiet now. Because that's what happened last time. Yeah, you don't have to have a StreamYard. You can just post, like, go and make the link and you post the link. Scooby-Doo is still here. The mobile home. I grew up in a mobile home until I was about 6 years old when my parents divorced. But I do not currently possess one. I've thought about it. Like, I've thought about putting one out on the farmland. Like a nice one, like a double wide. with all the connections and electricity and shit. I haven't fully decided to do that yet. In the meantime, we just I'm in my dad's house. I still have it, but it's like the fucking floor is caved in, and I fell through that bitch one of the last times I was there. We can show the guns, I just can't touch them because I got in trouble. I don't know if Hank or Tulu are still here, but this is one of our regular trolls. It's like he's got like 4 or 5 different accounts, but don't time him out or anything. But we do at least try to talk to him, because sometimes he is serious and he'll be like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean anything by it, and then he'll come back and say some shit like, you look like a hobo that lives in your car. Let's see what you look like compared to me. No, we're still not monetizing, but they're paying watch hours, I guess. I call Scooby-Doo out directly. I call him a bitch and say show up on stream, and then he just goes directly to Hank. It's the same guy who said that Hank was using drugs. Yeah, no, he be gobbling that thing. I've seen his OnlyFans videos. I mean, he be straight gobbling and getting stretched out like a motherfucker. I can't even describe what I've seen on his OnlyFans. That's the sign of a weak troll. It's when you actually get called out and you can't cover your own ass. You move on to the next guy. You pick a fight with a syllogistic logician who actually teaches argumentation. It doesn't tend to work out too well for you. But we keep them around. Pets. We have Cuddy in the house. Yeah, no, I think it is. I've been told that it's Yeah, I've been told, like, by another person who knows the guy that it's likely a minor. That's why we don't really engage. Except sometimes I do engage, especially when we don't have many people here. I get pissed off and I'll call somebody a pussy or a bitch just to see if they got the balls to show up. Hank's not gonna ban you. But you are a pussy. If anybody bans you, I'm gonna unban you. A soy boy is like a term for like a low testosterone man or boy. But I can guarantee if you saw me or Hank face to face, you're not gonna be called either one of us a soy boy. I don't actually know how big Hank is, but I can tell he's a biggin. But I always welcome 6 feet. 260. Goddamn, son. You hiding all that. I would have guessed maybe like 225, 230. Can you say you lost weight? We're gonna have to bring Hank in as the bodyguard. He's come follow me around and keep me safe from what's his name? Scooby-Doo. I'm worried he's gonna come get me. No, it would probably take him out instantly, I'm sure. No, I'm trying back to like maybe an even 200 pounds. Like, I don't want to be super enormous, but I'm a couple inches taller than you, so I'm naturally like, my dad was super tiny, so I just popped out a little bit bigger. Scooby just being the vacuum on the floor. Do you watch Cobra Kai, Hank? Did you see in the last season where they made Kyler eat off the floor? I don't think any of these people fight. That's why I kind of think it's funny. If you actually have a martial arts background, it do be funny. I'll also, we'll sick Tulu on that ass. He's close to me. Tulu will come straight down there in one of his cars and just hit you with the... That's the Shotokan karate snap punch. Takes years to develop. And then I'll hit you with one of these. Straight in the kneecap. I will fold that bitch in backwards. And then you'll reach 20 years old with a caved in leg. Could actually fight. I think most people could actually fight. It's a matter of learning how to fight and learning how to get punched in the fucking face. I mean, he's here because I keep him here. But the funny thing is, like, I've never blocked any of his profiles. It's just, there's always a new... But I got tough skin. We're not too worried about it. Does somebody have something we want to talk about that's not just, can you fight? Yeah, no, I would just... The problem with that is that the guy has so many different accounts. But he shows up and gives me watch hours, so I don't really give a fuck. But if we got something substantive to talk about, I want to get back into educational content. If you guys are into philosophy, I know me and Hank are both into comic books. We could talk about that for a minute. Could talk about theology, cognitive science, linguistics, psychology. No, I like to do fish. I mean, when I was a kid, my grandpa would take me fishing. I got to run a business now. Like, I don't have time to... I mean, I on my property, I have I'm not going to give personal info away right now, just 'cause I don't know you that well, but a major Alabama river runs through my property. So, like, if we wanted to do, you know, fish, I have access to a river. What kind of philosophy? Yeah, Socrates, Plato, but more specifically, I mean, I guess my specialties would be moral philosophy, epistemology, you know, like the concepts of the distinction between belief and knowledge, what makes an action moral versus immoral. I'm into logic, like syllogistic logic, analytic logic, how to properly form an argument in order to convince another person of something. This is what the Socratic method is. You know, you mentioned Socrates. The Socratic method is a way of using questions and statements in order to convince your interlocutor of a change another person's mind, basically. And like I taught this stuff for a little while. And yeah, if y'all have questions, I mean, my fucking phone battery is not gonna be long, but basic questions. You have something. I haven't even played music on here yet. It's just that was just me trying to tune my instruments up. But I do appreciate that. And I appreciate you coming through. No, most people don't, Tulu, especially in Alabama. America is approximately 3 points below the average IQ globally. Once you move to Alabama, we're about 5 points below that. So we got a bunch of dumbasses here. So once you're born with a genius IQ amidst a community of people who don't really know what the fuck they're talking about, like, it is kind of frustrating. So in my case, like, one of the only things that gives me purpose lately is just if I can educate like a younger generation or even people that are my age or older. That's the way that we truly leave immortality. You leave something behind. You change someone's mind. And I didn't mean that as like an insult, I wasn't trying to be like, everybody's a dumbass, but this is one of the few things that I'm passionate about. When people actually ask me questions, like I'm like, fuck yeah, let's do this. We have the mother of my next child, which is also my first child, in the chat. Gaming Fairy. Everybody go give Gaming Fairy a subscription. While I'm sitting here talking in the fucking darkness, trying to educate people who don't give a fuck about what I'm talking about. Is that why we procreate? We procreate because our instincts are survival and reproduction. It's a genetic, we don't have a choice. We want to eat and we want to fuck because that's what keeps our species going. If we didn't have those built-in, tendencies, then our species would have dissipated a long time ago. But if you have like a more specific question, I could answer it more in depth. How would you feel if I don't give it. Just make a statement. I mean, I can give you the resources. I studied this shit for a long time. Evolutionary psychology was one of my main focuses in undergrad study. But you're not gonna lose my friendship if you agree. But I will probably try to re-educate you because nothing that I just said was incorrect. I'd also like to get back into some comic book shit, but do express the express the disagreement. I appreciate y'all sticking around. I'm thinking that I'm gonna get back more into teaching. Well, everything is based on belief. That's what I was talking about with epistemology earlier. Our beliefs dictate our actions, and our actions affect the people that are around us. This is why we have to learn how to think instead of what to think. There may be an argument for everything, but the point of epistemology and syllogistic logic is you learn to identify arguments. If an argument is both valid and sound, then the conclusion is necessarily true. Validity means it's internal. There's nothing inconsistent within the argument. Soundness deals with truth. Are your premises true? But if an argument is both valid and sound, then you can't disagree with the conclusion. That's why it's so important to learn how to use logic, and it's kind of a lost art, especially in America. That's why I was talking about the intelligence rates, statistics in America. The average American is not as intelligent as the average human. No, you can always argue or reason with anyone. There are just people who can't accept the conclusions because they don't understand how to use syllogistic logic. That's kind of the point that I'm trying to make, is I don't give a fuck if somebody doesn't agree with an argument that I make, but if I've spent 10 years learning how to formulate like a basic syllogism, then I don't really care if they don't accept it or not. The conclusion stands regardless. If this is something that you're interested in, I could send you some literature. It's why I'm it's not exactly true, but I think I get I'm talking about objective truth. You know, I have a psychology degree, and I also have other family members who were affected by personality disorders. But what I'm talking about is objective truth, like not convincing an individual. I'm talking about educating the kids that are coming up, teaching them how to think instead of what to think. You know, I grew up in a very heavy religious community. I'm an ordained minister in the Christian church. I've actually read the Bible from front to back. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, Ruth, 1st and 2nd Samuel. like all the way through Revelation. So I like to teach this shit, but I don't do the happy stuff, like only focus on the feel-good parts. We have to acknowledge that Exodus 21 explicitly condones and sanctions slavery. Fair, I don't think you'd like hearing me do that. I mean, I wish you would, but yeah, I don't believe that it's moral to own another human as property, or to beat the hell out of them until they, if they don't die in 2 or 3 days. Yeah, that's a common misconception, Fairy. When Christ came, he said that he didn't come to change a jot or tittle of the law. He wanted to reinforce it. And then he beat the hell out of a bunch of people with a whip that he made with his own hands. And then Christ also encouraged slaves to obey their masters, even the cruel ones. So I always encourage people to actually, sit and read the Bible. Yeah, well, they weren't even allowed to read it. It was read to them. And Exodus 21 through 24 were the parts of the Bible that were used to reinforce slavery in early America. So that's kind of a soft spot for the African American community. Yeah, and that's why I'm telling you to go read it. Go to Exodus 21 through 24. We be doing this out here. It's just people want to read like feel-good verses and not actually read the whole book because it makes them feel comfortable. Yep, Fairy, we can get into it anytime. Appreciate you coming through. Read your Bible. And I still got you on the baby. I don't know, it depends on what my battery looks like. And I have a fucking aim coming through. Go for it, Hank. Do it for me. I'm still wrapped up in the legal system. I went in for my last drug test. I came in with a 0.03 alcohol level, less than half the legal limit, and they gave me an additional 3 months. So that's like an extra $800 that I'm gonna have to pay, and an extra 3 months of my time. I always give you hours. Especially with that the red thing. You know what I'm talking about. When the things be thingin', the bug juices get flowing. That one, it hit me hard that night. Fairy was out here giving me dreams. I think she's probably gone by now. But sometimes the things be thingin'. If you do that, I'll probably be showing up. I think we better walk back inside. I don't even know if it was like, I don't know the makeup of it, like it works. But I just remember there were some red things. And then some other things. And they'd be getting my things. Peace out, Fairy. Peace out to Hank. Sign language. No, I ate all my spaghetti. I do have that, like, I've got one more package of that, like, shitty frozen stuff. But today I have bagel bites and a steak that I cooked. So I'm gonna eat one of these, and then I've got some chicken fried rice. Do a load in carbs. And then when I finish the food, I've got an Ensure Plus 350 calories. And that'll be my third meal for the day. So I think we'll hit 3,600 calories. And I've got some tea. And I have like some candies and shit. Fruit by foot. Razzles. Sour Skittles. I'm doing it until I reach the weight that I want to get to. It sounds like you're big as hell. If you're 260 pounds and you're 2 or 3 inches shorter than me, you don't be needing that food. You better be growing a big back, son. That back about to be big as hell. Yeah, we did some, I was a little bit into that when I was in high school, but I never really broke like the 200-pound barrier. And I also have like some pretty serious arthritis and scoliosis and bilateral pars sclerosis and a few other health issues. So I can't really, it's too risky for me to do that now. I mean, I can stay big and train a little bit, but I can't be deadlifting. We gotta take it easy now that we old men. Yeah, I appreciate y'all. Looks like we're down to 0 or 1 viewers. Yeah, I can't be doing any power clean. Fucking my back. But we're about to go watch this last episode of Cobra Kai. But I love y'all. I appreciate it. It means a lot that you stuck around, because Cat has been kind of shitty lately. Maybe I'll do a short when I eat this food.